today's video, I'm making a high protein chicken taco bowl by the recipe made by Chef Jack Ovens. I want to try out for myself to see if it's really good, and let's get to it. The ingredients I'll be using in this video are 500 grams of chicken breast, 28 grams of parsley, 250 grams of tomatoes, 1 large onion, 1 jalapeno, 766 grams of raw potatoes, 1 lime, sunflower oil, salt, ground pepper, ground cumin, chili powder, chili flakes, oregano, mixed herbs, garlic powder, and smoked paprika. So the very first step I did was I cut my chicken into small even pieces, and Chef Jack Ovens started with potatoes first, but I'm starting with chicken first, and then later I'll be seasoning them. For how I use my seasoning, I used a weighing scale so I can be more accurate on the macros. Then I placed my evenly cut chicken breast into a large bowl. For seasoning my chicken breast, I used 5 grams of smoked paprika and I used 4 grams of garlic powder. I did not use onion powder since I didn't have any. Then I used around 4 grams of ground cumin and around 1.5 grams of oregano. For a little bit of spice, you can add chili flakes. I personally added around 3 grams of chili flakes into my mixture. Now for the last bit of seasoning, I'm using around 1 gram of ground pepper and 2 grams of salt. Now for our last bit of our marination, I did use sunflower oil instead of olive oil because I didn't have any, and approximately I did put in around 8 grams of sunflower oil. After all that, I started to mix it all and I let it sit until I had to cook it. Then I started to cut my 766 grams of raw potatoes into small evenly pieces like I did with my chicken breast, which then I will later season them. Then I would place the evenly cut potatoes into a large bowl like I did with the chicken breast. And once again, for the seasoning I used for the potatoes, I used 2 grams of smoked paprika and once again 3 grams of garlic powder. The seasoning is pretty much the exact same, I just didn't use onion powder because, well, I already said it, I didn't have any. And once again, I used 2 grams of ground cumin and I used around 1 gram of oregano. Now the 2 other ingredients I used was 2 grams of chili powder and approximately 1 gram of mixed herbs. That's something he did not use, and I do enjoy mixed herbs with potatoes. It gives that nice taste. And of course, the salt and the ground pepper. I used approximately 1 gram of ground pepper and 1 gram of salt. And for the mixture of the potatoes, I used approximately 14 grams of sunflower oil. After all that, I then mixed it all and I tried to get every seasoning on every piece. I got myself an oven tray and I covered it with baking paper. I then placed the potatoes onto the baking tray and I spread them evenly so when they are cooking, they won't stick together. Also, for this part, you can either use an air fryer or an oven. I personally used an oven because I don't have an air fryer. So that's why I cut my pieces into not so thick pieces because then they will take longer to oven bake. Now this is depending on what temperature you use, but I use around 250 degrees for the entire time until they were cooked. Then we will place our potatoes into the oven. Now, while the potatoes are getting cooked in the oven, we're going to start making our salad. I will cut out the middle part, or whatever that's called, I don't even know. I'm cutting that out because I do not want it. And for the whole total would be around 250 grams of tomatoes that I would finely dice into little cubes or whatever, little small pieces. And then I would place it into a bowl. Now he did use a red onion, but I did not use any red onions because I didn't have any. I just had the regular onion, and after cutting the whole onion into finely diced pieces, I had approximately 128 grams of diced onion. I then used 1 jalapeno, and after cutting off the stem, it was around 20 grams of jalapeno. I then cut into small little pieces, and I did put into the salad with the seeds because, as he says, for flavor. I then added into into a larger bowl so then I'm able to mix it better. Now I'm pretty sure he used a different herb, but I just used parsley because I do like parsley, and yeah, I just chopped it into really thin pieces. He then used half of a lime and I just squeezed it out as much as possible. I then added salt to the salad because just wanted to add a little bit of my twist to it, and then I mixed it. Now from time to time I do check if my potatoes are done. I always either just start mixing them around or I just taste test it. Then I got myself a frying pan and I poured around approximately 9 grams of sunflower oil, and I just spread it through the entire pan so everything is covered with sunflower oil. I then turned up the heat to high and I waited until the pan was nice and hot. Then I placed the chicken pieces one by one into the pan and I just waited until they were cooked, and then I flipped them over using a fork, and then I closed the lid and I just turned down the heat so they can get a really nice soft texture and they won't be as chewy. I kept checking my potatoes to see if they are cooked by taste testing them. I checked the chicken multiple times by just opening it and just mix them around to see if they are cooked, and also taste testing them. Now for the final thing is to plate our food and then eat it. Since I didn't create my own sauce, I just used what I had at home, and that was just the sriracha spicy mayo. That's the sound of me eating. I'm enjoying this so much. Yeah, this is so good, honestly. Well, that's what I made. Honestly, it's actually really good. I recommend trying it. Honestly, it's actually really nice. Yeah. Would I cook this next time? Yes, I would. It's actually really nice, and I hope you guys try it as well because I recommend it. Just subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next video.